He loved his neighborhood. He loved the area. He loved going to the park. He loved riding his bike. He loved helping people.
The Omishore family could spend hours talking about the Deji they knew. The man who went to all his sister's antenatal classes, or the man who talked excitedly about the plants and flowers in his garden. But note the legal files stacked around this room. The family wants answers.
We need transparency and accountability on the part of the policing. We cannot continue to use taser on vulnerable mental health people.
Early on a Saturday morning, on the 4th of June, Deji Omishore was tasered by the police on Chelsea Bridge. This video shows that it happened at least 3 times. Roughly 30 seconds after the first shot, Deji enters the river.
Oh my God.
This footage went viral on social media, and the family say it's the first they heard of a taser being used.
I did a quick Google search of, I think it was Chelsea Bridge or, River Thames, and that's when my life completely changed. Seeing that video footage was absolutely devastating.
I had a Google News notification come up on my phone saying, man in his 40s, tasered on Chelsea Bridge, in critical condition. And I just passed my phone to my husband in just shock and despair. And I just remember saying to him, I bet it was a black man. It always is.
Deji died that evening. As they started the grieving process, so too began a journey into what the family describe as police misinformation, a deliberate attempt, they say, to shape the public consciousness. On the 4th of June, the Metropolitan Police put out a press release saying it was reported that a man was armed with a screwdriver and shouting at the location. This was picked up by the press and reported repeatedly. It took 2 weeks for the police watchdog, the IOPC, to clarify that Deji was not armed with a screwdriver. It was a plastic and metal firelighter. And we don't know at what point the police learned it wasn't a screwdriver that Deji was holding.
I find that very deeply concerning. And I think this speaks to kind of the systemic issues that we are seeing with the Met Police. In terms of them trying to control the narrative, to portray my brother as this menacing person that was potentially trying to pose a threat, which wasn't the case.
Why would he be holding a screwdriver? It just didn't make sense. It wasn't our brother. It didn't make sense to us. And I think it just added to our sense of, distress. Black men just aren't allowed to be in crisis. They're not allowed to be vulnerable. They're not allowed to be in distress without being seen as a threat.
Last year, the police watchdog released a report into taser use. They looked at 101 investigations over a 5-year period, and they found that black people were more likely to be tasered for prolonged periods. So 29% of white people were subjected to continuous discharges of more than 5 seconds, and that figure is 60% for black people. The National Police Chiefs Council questioned the evidence base for this report and claimed it lacked detail.
There is a culture of defensiveness and denial when it comes to the use of force by police officers. And sadly, in our experience, taser is becoming the default, the first resort, rather than the last resort that it is supposed to be. And as a result, people are dying or being very seriously injured.
The police watchdog apologised for the delay in updating the information on the object Deji was carrying. They also say at this early stage there's no indication that any of the officers breached professional standards or committed a criminal offence, adding they're investigating the family's complaint about the Met's initial public statement. The Met told Channel 4 News that their sympathies are with the family and they're cooperating fully with the IOPC investigation. The family wanted to support each other today. Remy joined from Texas at 4 a.m. The criminal justice system is new terrain for them, and asking hard questions is a new reality.
What message does it send to the public when somebody can be multiple tasered, when there was ample opportunity for them to, de-escalate the situation, and potentially they're still policing the streets? Who's the real threat here? That's the question we need to ask. And we need to have those difficult discussions if we're going to really affect change in the United Kingdom.